So here are some things that I experienced that I thought was actually amazing. Good morning. Topic for today is my experience with my fast. Like, what is the summary? What's my takeaway of this experiment that I actually decided to film? Let's just talk about some of the things that I went through. Number one was, why did I do it? Well, the number one reason was I needed to kind of stop stress eating. With all the news across the world and everything else, I was kind of paralyzed for a while with what was going on in the world, and comfort food seemed to kind of do it. So that was primarily the reason, was to break the cycle of the binge eating, the stress eating, all that kind of jazz. So that's the premise. That was the main focus. Now, what are some of the benefits of doing that fast? Well, number one, and I'm just going to say it straight out, is weight loss, because I lost a bit of weight. So if you didn't, well, actually, I don't even know if I posted it in there. My weight at the end was 182.5 or 0.6. I had forgotten to record that, but that's what it was, 182. Now I know there's about 7 pounds of water weight, and I know that because I've done this before. So there's about 7 pounds of water weight. So it took me back up. So it's actually taking me back up to 190, or 189, which is great because I got rid of the extra weight that I had started to gain. So, which is great. I'm happy with that. The interesting thing that I noticed was I lost 1.5 inches over my belly button. All right, that was quite profound. I lost 0.5 inch around my waist, and then around my chest, I think it was again 0.5 inch off my chest, which all quite fascinating. One is I sleep really well now. That was unbelievable. I was really happy about that. Number two, and I have no way of knowing this. However, I do know from the past, I know that my blood pressure has gone down. I know that because, like I said, I've done this numerous times, and each time it's gone down by about 10 points. Well, around 7 or 8 points it's gone down. So that's really cool. So we got 7 to 8 points of blood pressure going down. The other thing is my mental clarity seems to be way more improved. Like, my focus and attention is kind of really, I'm like zeroed in on things, right? I'm not scattered all over the place. So that was something I noticed, which was kind of nice, because I noticed I started to get a little scattered with everything kind of going on. So more clarity, more focus, sleeping better. I'm dreaming. So I hadn't had a dream for a long time, probably since I did my last one. But anyways, did that, which was really, really cool. Now, my physical aspect, what was interesting was I could actually, I don't know, it's an interesting concept, but my fingers felt more like fingers, like they weren't bloated, right? My stomach didn't feel bloated. I felt very lean, very strong, which was kind of interesting. And I found that I felt like I had energy that I hadn't had before, but a different type of energy. Not like you drink a coffee type of energy, but just energy, which was kind of neat. I was like, I'm being powered by myself. Like, it was fantastic. It just felt really, really good. Now, some of the things that I noticed that I was like, oh, I don't really kind of like this. Number one is my electrolyte levels. Like you really have to, because I was running and stuff, you really have to pay attention to those, because if you don't get enough electrolytes, you get dizzy, you feel nauseous, you go through those feelings, right? And that's some of the things that I had happen on day 3. And I wouldn't say it was just that, it was also, I was coming off of everything. I was kind of doing that switch into full ketosis. And when it does that switch, I always find that day, it just, kind of hits you a little bit. You kind of get a little bit miserable, grumpy. These are just some of the feelings that I was having on day 3. Day 1 was like, I'm just, I'm not eating, it's just kind of irritating. Day 2 was like, okay, you kind of come to the realization of, okay, well, it's going to be what it's going to be. But then like the 3rd day hit and it was like, oh, really? So yeah, it was what it was. But then day 4 was really good. Day 5 was really good. Day 6 was really good, but it got harder because my wife bought those Beyond Burgers. So the anticipation of it ending was like so strong. So anyways, that's just some of the things that I had going on, right? So yeah, electrolyte levels, you really got to pay attention to that. And when I was running, I realized that I had to use, like I didn't have the extra oomph, so to speak, to like, I don't know. It was a little bit more of a challenge to kind of get up and get going for a run. I'm not going to say that it was bad, but it was just like, I'm just using my own fat storage to kind of get me running, get me through. And I found that was an interesting kind of aspect of it, right? But it's really mental. It plays a lot with you. But when you're in ketosis, you feel lighter because you're not carrying all this extra water weight. You have mental clarity. I seemed happier. What's my takeaway? What have I learned from it? Well, I've learned what Phil Maffetone has talked about, right? Is try to stay away from as much of those carbohydrates that are very simple, right? Like the baked goods, right? Like the breads, the pastas, the pops and the sugars and things like that, right? Now, because I'm plant-based, there's certain foods that I'll be able to eat more of. And this is, I already kind of ate this way, but broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, those are all kind of really like low carb. I'm still going to eat beans. I'm still going to have rice, spinach, avocados, I always eat avocados, almond butters, nuts and seeds. But I'll stay away. I won't necessarily have as many bananas as I used to have because they're really, really high in sugar and everything else, right? They're high glycemic. But anyways, putting all that aside, I'm really happy that I did it. Will I do it again? Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm switching over into the intermittent fasting, and that's what I did. That's what I've always done for a while. So intermittent fasting. So I don't eat till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I eat till about So from 2 to 7 or 8, that's kind of my window where I'll eat, and then the rest of the time I'm fasting. So, but continuing with math, hitting the next cycle now, that I'm actually going to start documenting this round of training, and we'll see where it goes. I'm going to see how much further down I can get my math pace, but I know it's going to work, and yeah, stay tuned for more. Run wild, everyone. Bye for now.